clock is 6 o'clock, and I would like to welcome people to this webinar. My name is Stefan Gunnarsson. I'm a professor at the Agricultural University of Sweden, and I have the privilege of being the coordinator for BroilerNet, an EU project. And I will give a short presentation of what's happening now and this evening. I hope that you can see my slide.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. So for anybody, please, if you have questions, put them in the question and answer function, and we will bring them to the our distinguished guests. And after each presentation, we will have one or two questions, and then in the end, we'll have a panel discussion. So this is the schedule. I will soon give a short overview of the BroilerNet project, and then we need to switch orders. So Anne Körkel from Hahnauer will give the first presentation, and then Clare Hill will talk about the Planton Farm. Johan Leenders will talk about his company, and we will have a short break, a leg stretcher, and then Axel Hilckmann will talk about Hofgut Serrig, and we will have a panel discussion. And we will close this webinar by 8 o'clock, so it's not more than 2 hours. So this is the program. So BroilerNet is a EU project that is bringing together academic partners and industry partners for exchange of knowledge within the broiler sector. It's a project that has been running for almost 4 years, and we will finish this project after the summer. It's funded by the European Commission, and we have 25 partners in 13 countries. In each country, there is one industry partner and one academic partner. So, and this makes the project quite unique. So we have project partners from Finland to Portugal, from Greece to Ireland. And the objective of our project is to build networks on national level and also on international level across the countries. And the purpose is to foster interaction between science and practice. And what we are doing are that we have been collecting sector challenges within the different countries. And with these sector challenges, we have tried to find good practices in all countries. We have shared the challenges, and we have received good practices, and then we are making them to a ready to use fact sheets, videos, etc., in order to disseminate them to farmers and advisors who can use them within Europe. And we have, in order to make this in a structured way, we have made 3 themes. We have the animal health theme that has been are coordinated by IRTA. We have the animal welfare theme that is coordinated by Friedrich Löffler Institute in Germany. And then we have environmental sustainability that is coordinated by CRPA in Italy. And this is it. So in the chat, the message, I will put the links. I've put them already, but there are lots of material that might suit your expectation and can be a thing that could make your production and your animal welfare and your animal health better on your farm. Or if you're an advisor, you can use this to support with an up-to-date scientific-based knowledge base. So I really recommend this knowledge hub. And I would like to acknowledge all our 25 partners and all countries. And for those of you who are from countries outside the partner group, this is for everybody. So it's freely available and open for all that want to use it. Thank you. So it's a pleasure for me to introduce our first speaker, and that is Anne Körkel from Germany, and she will talk about her farm and her production. So, Anne, we're very happy that you can share your thoughts and ideas, and we know that you're very innovative. So, thank you very much, and you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Can you see my screen? Yes, I think that's right.
Yes, now we can.
Okay,
Yeah.
really
Yep.
good. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. My name is Anne Körkel. I'm 41 years old, and I'm a trained agricultural engineer and self-made employed entrepreneur. First of all, my English are really not so good. I hope I can answer the question later. In 2050, I founded my farm Annes Hahnauer, free-range chicken from here to here. Today, I would like to briefly introduce our farm and show how we put animal welfare into practice. My focus is on the upright catching and transport of the animals, as well as the mobile slaughtering. My location, where I live in Kehl, Baden-Württemberg, close to the border of French. The brand and the production. Our goal has always been simple: to produce high quality free range chicken locally and sell them directly to the consumers. We have developed our own brand, Hahnauer. The name is a word playing, combining Hahnauer Land, this is the region where I live, and the German word Hahn, meaning rooster. It presents our strong regional identity. We keep an average of around 6,500 chickens per year. Due to the long feeding period, our birds reach higher final weights and than in many standard production systems. The housing system. We work with two mobile chicken houses. One of them are built on farm, and the second is a mobile unit from the company Camper. Our chicken have access to pasture all the time during the day and can use an adjacent fruit meadow. You can see this here on this side. Here are the stables, two of them, and then can they go into the meadow, and there are old fruit trees. In the stable looks there, so most of us know this. The trees provide shade on protection where losses due to predators are very low. Because the houses are mobile, when we can move the system after each flock and fresh ground, which improves both hygiene and pasture quality. The feeding. The feeding is all important part of our overall system. We mix our feed yourself. About 85% of the feed components come from my in-law farm. The insurance high transparency to original raw materials and keep transport distance short. All poor case components are non-GMO. The marketing. Our marketing approach is very different. Consumers come to us. We sale radius is about 80 kilometers. Since we sell only fresh meat, orders are placed in advance via online channels or WhatsApp. We don't work with large retailers or supermarket. Around 30% of our production supply to select a butcher shop or little farm stores. Direct contact creates transparency and trust in our production system. The animal health is a central part of our animal welfare concept. We uniform monitor our flock and observe the animals closely. We don't use antibiotics routinely and advise standard case medication program. In case respiratory issues, we use herbal treatments via air or drinking water. So far, we have managed without the use of antibiotic treatments. Our goal is prevention and early intervention rather than routine medication. Practical welfare. Now, I would like to focus on the core of my presentation, practical animal welfare. I will cover two key aspects, the transport of the animals and the mobile slaughtering. So first, the transport. For exercise, we has shown that conventional transporter boxes are not optimal for the animal welfare or carcass quality. You have, when you push the chickens into the box, you have often this one on the chicken. We frequently observe injuries and bruising, especially on the wings. One main reason was top loading, where the birds open sprayed the wings and injuries happen. This is an example for this. For this reason, we develop our own transport trolleys. See, they have smooth, not performing floors. The birds are loaded from the side, not from above. The height between the levels allow the chicken to stand if they wish, while most remain and sit. The trolleys are positioning directly in front of the mobile house and filled there. Thanks to large wheels, we can also be loaded directly inside the stable if you need. With some routine, one trolley with 5 levels, about 10 per level, can load in 8 minutes. Each chicken is handled individually. Both hands support the breast while the thumbs secure the wings. This system has reduced transport-related injuries of a minimum. The load trolleys are then moved directly to the slaughter unit. A further advantage because visually doing loading. Thanks the side access and the tree design, the chicken remain very charm. When you open the door, they show hardly any escape behavior. They allows each bird to remote individually in controlled manner. It's reduced stress, minimized, and the risk of injury. The transport trolley are removed wheel panels, which make clean easier. The mobile slaughtery. The second important area is the mobile slaughtering. Slaughtering is carried out by an external service provider directly on the farm. With about 2 workers, around 50 chicken per hour are processed. Due to the wide weight range of chicken from 1.3 to 3 kilos, we individually face challenge with electric stunning. We have I show this. So we have from time to time observed blood spots in the breast area to ruptured blood vessels in the ring. To improve this, we invest in a new stunning system. The system actually adjusts the electric parameters to each chicken. You see it on the green lamp. As a result, starting quality improved and slaughter defects were greatly reduced. After starting and bleeding, the chicken enter the clear processing area. The gutting, washing, further preparation take place. The cases are then chilled. Within about 1 hour, gore temperature for 4 degrees is reached. The following day, further processing take away. Animal welfare aspects, although important, is good stable climate control, just doing in the hot summer. We have here in this area 40 degrees, 37 degrees, and this is not so easy for the free-range chicken. Drying bedding as a base for foot-pad healthy structure in the stable, adapted lighting management. Key takeaways include, I would like to share 4 key aspects that define our farm, and then I am finished. The first are personal responsibility. I stand behind my business from A to Z and personally hand over each chicken to the consumer. Second, our brand with clear standards and digital processing. All orders are centrally managed, allowed demand diving production and minimize food waste. Third, substantially growth. We continue to grow, but not simply by getting better or at any cost. And fourth, economically stable and with a limit supplied, high quality and fair prices. Conclusion, our goal is to combine regional production, direct management and high welfare. For us, animal welfare does not end at the barn. It includes housing, feeding, health management, transport and slaughtering. Many small improvements along to the entire production chain can make a big difference for the animals, for the production quality, and for the consumer trust. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anne. I'm sorry we can't give you an applause, but you have to feel it anyway. Yeah. Thank you very much.
We do have a question.
We have a question here, and I think, and it's from Johan Leenders, and you can ask the question, Johan. Please turn on your microphone.
Yeah, here we go. The microphone and the video. Yeah, it works. Splendid. Now, just well done on a presentation. Anne looks nice and promising. Just at the end, you mentioned a high price for the chickens and the broilers. I was just curious at what price you would sell a griller per kilogram for, just as an indication for all the work that you do on the chickens.
Okay, the price of the chicken are 9.30 per kilo for the together. We can cut it in both in 2 parts. There are 9.90, and only the one chicken are 9.60. 9.60. When the breast we make 24 per kilo. The wings are 70 euro per kilo, and the other are 80 euro. 80 euro the kilo. The Schlegel in Deutsch. Die Beine. Yeah.
Drumsticks.
Drumsticks. Thank you. Thank you. Drumsticks are 90 kilo. Yes.
Interesting. Thank you. I'll be sure to pop by and buy some when I visit or am close.
The important thing is there are the average weight 2.3, 2.8. The bigger one as a 3 point. There we cut it, also make also Edelteile, also Einzelteile, pieces from this, and the not so heavy, we make it all together. Also sehr, also die bleiben einzeln, wird einzeln verkauft. Und this is the reason that we make a good average price. The average price of the chicken are 25 euro. When you see the cutted chicken and the little chicken, 25 euro, and the cost, also the cost are 90 euro per chicken. Also we have 6 euro chicken for us, 5 euro per chicken.
I saw that Axel wanted to say something. So, Axel, please ask your question, and then we need to move on with Claire, the presentation of Claire. But Axel, please ask your question.
Yes, good presentation, Anne. Very good English. Very good English. Anne, you said you changed your stunning system.
Yes.
And does it get better? There was less blood spots in the meat?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
quite better. Also, the problem is when the chicken are quite big, and
Yeah.
then there makes the blood in the breast, and
Okay.
we have also there are not also keine homogene Richtung. Also there are little one and big one. They are not own the same size, and this is the problem for the normal stunning
Okay,
system.
enough for my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will have a panel discussion in the end as well. So I would like to introduce Lisa Morgans, which is an important part of the BroilerNet project, and veterinarian and doctor from the Royal Agricultural University. So please, Lisa.
Well, you don't need to hear from me. I'd just like to introduce our next speaker from the UK, which is Clare Hill, who's a wealth of experience working across all sorts of supply chains and now farming in her own right up in the region of Shropshire, which is in sort of the northwest of England. So hopefully, Claire, you've managed to, we've had a few technical issues, but hopefully you can see and hear us and can speak and share your screen.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Looks like it's working. Yes, can hear you perfectly. And it's loading. You must be quite stressed.
For some reason, it's not showing my video, but anyway, we won't worry. As long as I'm just going to put this into present mode and hopefully it will work. Let me know if it's loaded.
Perfect. Yes. Looks good our end.
Fabulous. And it's 15 minutes, isn't it? Just so I check the time.
Yeah, perfect.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you for asking me to come and speak and share what I've been working on. I'm going to introduce you a little bit to Planton Farm. We're an 80-acre farm in 35 hectares for those that work in new money in Shropshire. And we're a mixed farm, and poultry are very much integrated into our farming system. But my career has spanned back through the poultry industry, so I've been involved in poultry for a long time. But I like to describe our farm as an ecosystem because it is. All farms are. And we're constantly thinking about how we can bring more diversity, both in our enterprises to give us financial resilience, but also for the biodiversity, for the water, for the wildlife, for everything that's happening on the farm. So these are some of the things that we work on. So I'm going to talk about just to say we have cattle, eggs, a market garden, a forest garden, and other agroforestry enterprises on the farm. But with our broilers, we are working on a classic, I guess, organic system. So a Hubbard 757, organically sourced chicks. So we try really hard to make sure that our chicks are coming from an organic farm rather than going through the conversion period. And we're slow growing them, as are the breed designed, 75 to 81 days. And we're not doing on-farm slaughter as much as we would like to. We're traveling for processing, but I think the kind of like value and pricing that was discussed in the previous presentation would be similar to what we're doing. We're only at a really small scale. This is definitely like a pastured poultry system. And so I just thought I'd start off a little bit with our brooder design, which actually inside isn't much different to any brooder. But the advantage of ours, you can see that it's mobile. It's on a caravan chassis, which means we park it next to the shed when we need electric for brooding. And then to skip the step of catching out with the brooder and into crates and taking them up to the main range, we're able to just disconnect everything and drive this up there. And then the birds transition out of this over 3 to 4 days into the other sheds. So we feel like that kind of removes one of the stressful steps of change that broilers go through. Yeah, just a bit of a view within the brooder, but a very standard setup that we've got in there. These are our mobile sheds. Those that are familiar with mobile systems might be more used to the Joel Salatin, much lower to the ground versions. We want to make sure the birds have got room to, not necessarily to fly. We know these birds aren't really going to start flying around, but that very low level feels like it's missing something even when birds are jumping around. So we've got ours also from a human point of view. It's much more enjoyable working, particularly catching in a shed where you can stand up. And also where we are, we're 900, these chickens are 900 feet. I can't think what that is in meters, but quite high above sea level, which means it's windy, basically. So we need a really sturdy shed to be able to, cope with the conditions. You see, it's quite open-sided. We slow the airflow down with the green netting, but ventilation-wise, so it's just perfect. So the birds aren't drafty, but they've got complete fresh air all around them. And we move these sheds every day. So we move them with an all-terrain vehicle, tow them forwards, just a shed and a half length, really. So the chickens are getting fresh forage every single day, and we've got not having any negative impact on the land with our manure, either with an overloading or a kind of, where they're scratching and it goes bare, as can be typical with some larger free range systems. We sell directly. I think it's, in reality, the only way it can work in this sort of smaller model. So we sell at a farmer's market, people can collect at the farm, a click and collect, or we do nationwide delivery using a courier service, and that works really well for us. We have a particular customer that I would say they discover us and they go, I haven't eaten chicken for years because I haven't found a chicken I'm happy with, and I found this and I'm just so excited. And that's just like an amazing feeling. But that's our kind of like, if I was to summarize our customer base, that would be it. People that have stopped eating chicken until they found something they felt content with, both from a taste and a welfare perspective. And then I'm just going to talk a little bit about our other work on dual purpose poultry, because we think it's interesting anyway. But as we are starting to consider, what is the most resilient type of system that we could have, we started questioning that. Myself and my colleague Annie Rayner, who has a PhD in welfare and behaviour in chickens, and so we've worked together for a number of years on chickens in various forms. But, as the world started to change, the climate started to change, everything's kind of becoming more difficult. It was like, what sort of a poultry system would be ideal? And the first question we asked ourselves was, should we even grow chicken in the UK? It's not native. Are we battling against something? It's a bit like sheep in the UK, not native, and we have a lot of problems. But, such is the insatiable demand for chicken, and increasing all the time. We were like, no, we're going to land it with chicken. So we have this project, Impeccable Poultry, and it is all about finding the most resilient and regenerating chicken. The world is talking about regenerative agriculture, increasingly, including me. I identify as a regenerative farmer, and everyone's talking about it. But really, what does that look like for chicken? Because, for example, are we regenerating if we might have our chickens out on pasture, but we're using a fast-growing genetic, so the welfare is compromised? Or are we regenerative if we're feeding a standard diet which contains soya from South America of unknown origin? So are we regenerative if we're sourcing our genetics from, the largely controlled big corporate genetics companies, because that is not a model. And I realise the audience here, so there's no criticism of that, but there's no model of kind of farmer to farmer saving, epigenetic expression of birds in local areas. The kind of seed saving movement for genetics is what first sparked our interest. Also because we want to try and combat some of the problems that exist still within animal welfare. So male chick culling, bone breakages and laying hens, through to fast growth rates and the problems that we know exist within broilers, recognizing that they're improving, but there's still challenges with that. And so actually with less intensity of a bird, there's some opportunities. And we've had to really change our thinking on this. I love this quote: you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model to make the existing obsolete. So that's what we're interested in, is building new models for our food system. And we like to use this model, kind of refers to kind of degenerating to regenerating food systems. And we're kind of just marking on here where we are with our dual purpose impeccable work. Is we really want to take, I see that there's been the two sisters are going to get to net zero on some of their Scottish chicken farms, which is great. But even net zero is not regenerating. Net zero is probably good for carbon, but it might not be good for positive biodiversity or anything else like that. So when we look at things only through a carbon lens, we can make progress, but there's always limits. So we're interested in what does it look like when we have a system that is truly regenerating in every sense, humans and natural systems regenerating together. And that's what we're working towards, that kind of Horizon 3 model for those that are familiar with the Horizon 1, 2, and 3 model of innovation. And for the birds themselves, we're really interested in taking through a life not worth living, a life worth living, and really to a good life. From a welfare perspective, we're really aiming for that good life, because it feels like it's not actually regenerating if the bird is making sacrifices in order to provide us with a cheap or easily accessible product. And in order to create this, and what does it look like? Often people say, well, just go back to what backyard hens were like 100 years ago. But that's not the origin of chickens. So we've gone all the way back to the red jungle fowl and looked at how they lived truly in the wild, with as much information as we have. So they were, of course, across mixed habitats, mostly field edge, not always thick trees, which is often what people think. Of course, chickens sit on their own eggs and hatch them and raise them quite well, a functionality that we seem to have completely removed from our food system as it stands today. But starting to ask the question of what does it look like if we put that back? If if electricity prices quadruple, what does that look like for incubation? And actually a warm chicken suddenly looks very appealing, recognizing that we are a million miles away from where we are in our current food system. But these are the things we're exploring to try and get, start by exploring these and pushing the boundaries. We're starting to uncover different questions and conversations that help take us in that direction. Of course, they had a general diet, eating all sorts of different things: rodents, lizards, insects, snails, seeds, all that we would expect. They didn't just exist on soy and wheat. They fed at certain times of the day, not all the time, or not just when they're stimulated by the feeder. Directly interacting with the soil, that's, I think, a key thing. So not a manure that is half composted or been mixed in with some bedding or whatever else that takes it away from what the microbes in the soil will recognize. They lived in groups of around 30 with satellite groups of males, and those groups of males would move in once the main lead male got too weak. And of course, this is very different, and in some points the opposite of how we raise chickens today. So we're really focused on trying to unearth some of the questions. And the things that we've done so far is we're working on feed. So we're looking at insects, we're looking at what we plant. For example, comfrey, it's got 30% protein versus grass at sort of 18%. So we're looking at how we incorporate that onto the grazing area. The chickens are raised in our food forest. So we have a 1 hectare forest garden with providing tree cover, but also we've got things planted in there where they can graze and browse on the leaves and the berries and fruit and nuts when they fall. We have successfully raised a group of dual purpose birds. That's not, raising dual purpose birds is not amazing. Anyone can do that. But we then have kept the laying hens and laid eggs, and we raise the males for meat. And we're looking to do more, to get more familiar with more breeds that can do that, because a lot of that knowledge has been lost. But we now sell our eggs actually as Brothers Raised 2. So we have a Brothers Raised 2 logo on our eggs, and that's been really sparked lots of interest to get to that point. And we're interested to work with more farmers on doing that. We can raise the males into our meat system, and then they can have females. That means that the brothers have raised, because in the UK, we're increasing awareness of the male chick culling problem. I will flick through this. This is just some of the research and some of the things that are driving us to want to look at dual purpose. These are the Gris Cendré. Although under much debate, lots of people look at these pictures of the grey speckly birds and say they're not a Gris Cendré, but that's what we were sold. So that's what we work with. We've also on the bottom, the brown birds are a Rhode Island red. Of course, traditionally would be a dual purpose chicken, but in reality, in the UK, especially since the Second World War, all of our birds have become more focused on laying hens. So even though it is a dual purpose bird, it lays almost as many eggs as a commercial layer, but the meat side of things is much slower to kind of materialize. So even our dual purpose birds now have been selected in that utility direction, into that egg laying direction. And that's something that we're kind of interested to try and bring that back to more of a balance and find birds that do both equitably. This is just a picture of, for those that don't know what a food forest is, a forest garden, a five layer of growing, everything interacting together and bringing benefit. So you have the top tree layer, a sort of dwarf understory tree layer, shrubs, and the ground plants. And the idea is it's producing food. You know, we can harvest what's on the trees and the shrubs. The reality of having ground food growing plants when you've got chickens is that there's not much, well, nothing left for humans. But that's why we're interested in that ground layer of what we can plant that will really power the chickens on, because in order to reduce the amount of grain feed that we're having to give them. So that's our kind of next area of exploration. And this is just a picture of those dual purpose birds in our food forest. It's only planted a couple of years ago. You can see the trees are quite new, but it's been designed with chickens in mind. So in rows, the right width for our sheds, turning circles at the end. So I'm really excited to see what will come of this over the next few years. And that's all.
Amazing, Claire. That was so good. Some lovely pictures that brings it to life. So I'm just going to give a bit of time for any questions, specific questions for you from the audience. And if no one comes up, I just get chair's prerogative. But I really love the ancestral chicken points, looking back at their sort of behaviour in natural environments, how we can build that into systems.
I can't see any question and answers in this. So please.
We've got a very polite audience. I was going to ask how you manage. So if you were trying to scale this sort of approach, I say scale up or out, you can decide. How do you mitigate any of the risks to land? Because you mentioned some of the damage that free range systems can cause, and if you're integrating birds into like shrubland and tree woodland, how do you see that being mitigated or managed so that you get benefit for the land and the birds?
Yeah, so I think the key thing is just moving them every day or every other day, really frequent moving. That's the bit where sometimes people are like, oh, we move it once a week or we move it once a month. I don't think that's enough, and that needs to be designed into a system, because it's an extra layer of work and that needs to be considered. So I think that's it. And there will be a point for our farm where it will be enough chickens. We're not there yet, where it's like, actually, we hear about sheep sick land. We don't want to chicken sick our land. But that's where a kind of scaling outwards model is so it wouldn't be about us having more and more and more chickens. It would be arrangements with other farmers, whether we run chicken sheds across other local farms or we train people up to do their own system. It's really it's kind of scale through replication rather than scale through us just getting bigger.
Brilliant. Yeah, good answer. Got a query from Margaret in the chat. So your dark brooders are heated, right? Do the chicks come out in the first days or stay with the heat?
So the dark brooders are heated. Yeah, they're those heat plate ones. And I would say they come out and feed, and then if it's cold weather, they do spend a lot of time under there. But we do have, if it's a cold time of year, because that brooder isn't insulated, we do have a heat lamp on, or two, depending, to just create some actual have the brooder at some sort of temperature. But they do, but they still come out to feed, even if they are spending a lot of time under the dark brooders.
Okay, cool. And on that, I think Johan, you've got a question as well. Do you want to speak now? Yeah, Gunnar, you can ask.
Yeah, so it's roughly a third coming from feet to meters. And then what do you think would be a maximum number of chickens in a coop that you could have? Knowing that there is this guy in the US, Paul Grieve, I believe is his name, running I think, multiple thousands of chickens in his coop and dragging that across the land. And just on how to mitigate the cold weather in the UK, because assuming it's the same rainy weather we have, different
Yes.
to what Paul's having in the US.
Yeah, definitely. So I think on the Paul Grieve model, firstly, we're an organic farm, so the birds have to range, of which his don't in that system. And we also have a customer base that's interested in the slow growing element, of which Paul's using a fast growing bird. But I'd definitely rather be a fast growing bird in his system than, in an indoor one without access to grass. I think that where we're on a really hilly farm. So Paul's model wouldn't work for us at all because it wouldn't go up and down the hills so well and through the gateways and everything. But I definitely can see an opportunity for Paul's model in, let's say, the east of the UK on the arable land. And having a really good impact there. And I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. So if anyone wants to do that, I'll happily help. But on the other point about the weather and the warm, so we just do broilers during the summer months. And there's a couple of reasons for that, or things that work well. Firstly, it's just so cold and wet. I've done organic broilers on other farms, outdoors all year round, and it's so miserable in the winter and it makes such a mess. It really doesn't feel worth it. And then like bird flu came along and we're under housing orders now, pretty much in the UK, you can guarantee we're under a housing order for the majority of the winter. So it just feels not worth having chickens. And then what it brings is this really nice seasonal element to what we do that is like, while the days are long and the weather's mild, we're outside and working hard, and we do more during the summer, and then actually can take the foot off the gas a little bit in the winter, and that actually feels a kind of like more in tune way of doing things. So that's how we manage those things at the moment.
Yeah, seasonality of it, I like it. I think we'll draw to a close questions there, and we can follow things up in the discussion at the end. But now we'll hand over to Johan for your talk.
All right, that's me. Let's see. Is this supposed to share now?
Yeah, that's sharing. Just put in presenting mode.
Here we go.
Perfect.
You guys away so I can just at least look at what we're presenting. So slightly different to what we've seen before, but I'm happy to show you guys what we do in the Netherlands for chickens, animal welfare, and the journey we've had from kilograms to quality of life for both the chickens and us, to be honest. It's been a long journey. But let me just show you everything that we do. So in the background is what you see, Flevoland, which is in the middle of the Netherlands. And for those who are unfamiliar with Flevoland, the Netherlands, can hardly imagine because it's a man-made place, reclaimed from the sea. The best thing we've done in the Netherlands in the last 100 years or so. Completely different to what Claire was just saying. No hills, totally flat. Even the ditches are straight lines. Everything was made for arable farming because we needed to produce a lot of vegetables in the Netherlands for apparently Europe now. That's the main thing of our farm as well. Used to be crops. Now I like chickens a lot more, so that's why my passion is chickens and not arable farming. Again, Flevoland is something really unique. And when they planned it, because it's all planned, they said chickens are not allowed, maybe as a side hustle, not as a main thing. That changed later on in I think 95 or so. But the main thing was arable. For us, it started with chickens in 97 when we were permitted to have a normal house as conventional chickens do in the Netherlands, which means high stocking densities, especially in the 90s. There wasn't a lot of choice for what you could do for animal welfare. It was either organic, which was probably non-existent to very, very limited and small, or do something like this. Stocking density of 52 kilograms per square meter was not something unusual at that time. And for a comparison later on, I'll show you the journey we've had for stocking densities every few years or so we've gone down. And to be honest, 52 kilograms was a exception sometimes, but a high stocking density with a lot of chickens, very difficult to move through. Especially my mom hated it because she said it right. She said, the better they do it for you, the worse they have it themselves. So, meaning that they just don't have a lot of space at the very end, but they will grow you good yields, good kilograms. At that time, 40,000 chickens meant that we were above average in the Netherlands. It had changed a lot in the last decades. So now 40,000 chickens will get you nowhere. But at that time, it was large. For us, being limited in Flevoland, we've always wanted, or I always wanted to do chickens. So in order to at least compete with everyone else, we started to look at local markets and finding added value and doing something better or different than the conventional things. So the first thing you'll see is on the right, the light in the barn is something that really changed a lot for me because I started enjoying chickens even more. Obviously, I liked the chickens, but not the housing for them because it just felt like you were in a warehouse or so with the lighting always the same, no sun, no shade, all that kind of things. And it took a long time to get the market with us, but in 2008 or so, the market wanted to shift in the Netherlands towards more animal welfare, and the light in the sunlight in the barn was one of the first things to come. And I always tell people, even if you do conventional chickens, just use the sunlight. It's good for the chickens. It's also good for the farmer. Whatever you do, it's just a no-brainer, really. And then after that came the slower growing chicken, meaning that the feed conversion ratio was no longer the most important metric for us. It used to be the one thing that we were looking at. But now it's kilograms per square meter, making sure that they're not going above the average growth for each day. It's becoming different. And then on the bottom right here, I have a picture of a barn that's stocked with half the amount of chickens that we used to have. So a lot less, still looks quite a lot. This is at the very end, obviously. At the start, it looks different, but meaning that even if we do a lot less chickens, it still looks like a lot of chickens at the very end. And then here you see a little trial with the same chickens as you guys have, the EAR 757 from Hofgut. It's a nice chicken. We've had some tremendous success with them over the last couple of years. But wanted to show for animal welfare, the debate that we've had was just stocking density and how we could lower the stocking density and obviously prolong life as well a little bit for the chickens. So on our farm, started in 97, 52 kilograms per square meter. Then in 2004, we stopped doing the really heavy conventional growers. And so the smaller ones, the lighter ones, got out a little bit earlier. And then the Netherlands, the market was ready for a slower grower with the sunlight in 2008. So around the time the forward and a one-star beta leven came as well in the Netherlands. And for us, that marked a start for the journey towards more animal welfare. So 2014, we did the new standard chicken for a retailer in the Netherlands, adding, I think it was dispersing some weed, straw bales as well as a even lower stocking density of about 33 kilograms per square meter and a bit longer life of 49 days. And then in 2015, year after, because retailers are a bit tricky to trust, we had to do something new, which is the One Star Better Life in the Netherlands, 25 kilograms per square meter, 8-week cycle, 56 days of chickens, and then 1 week of cleaning. And then after that, we did our own test of Oranjehoen. The first it was in 2017, and from 21 onwards, we were fully Oranjehoen, which is the chicken that you see in the bottom left. It's a color yielding chicken because I think colors are important as well for chickens. It's not just the stocking density and how long they live. There's other things really important too. But just to show that we've done a lot from where we came from to where we are now. And then there's more to it. Like as I said, is more than just stocking density per square meter. But this is a slide to show you the amount of kilograms we're missing essentially per square meter if you look at it from a business point of view. But from a point of view for me as a farmer or the chickens, it's a lot better now. So it's gone down tremendous. There's no one at 52 kilograms per meter anymore. I think even conventional is maximum 39 with some exceptions to 42 in the Netherlands. So even that's down a lot. And then all of the retail in the Netherlands is at 25 as well. So stocking density. But there is more to good animal welfare. Oh, my bad. One back. And then the stocking density. So we're not free range. We could do free range in on our farm. We have plenty of land to do so, but I felt strongly against it because the land is not used or meant to be used for free ranging chickens here, especially with avian influenza, and it's not the most fertile use of the soil. So I want to do crop farming there and give the chickens a really good welfare indoors. And that's what you see here. The idea was to give them more variety of things. So initially, just conventional was bedding, and that's it. We added the sunlight, obviously, the weed dispersing, then the straw bales. And then after that, we did a straw bale tower, so adding a few of them on top of each other, perching where they could sit on things, on perches. And on the right side, you can see plateaus where they can have some shade underneath or even jump on top of it. And then the winter garden on the bottom right is something that was really strange for us, but it was really nice for the chickens because it gave them a outdoor access with sunlight, protected from avian influenza because they can use it every part of the year, even in the winter. They're still allowed to go there because there's no rodent or bird or whatever coming in there. And it just makes for a really nice space for them to be. Just ventilation wise, for a farmer that's used to having a good ventilation, it's tricky, but we managed. And then some dust bath or whatever, just different things, a lot of variety for the chickens to explore and see something different. And you can see the different color of the chickens as well, which again I like because it helps you identify them as a um, individual, sort of more than a white flock of chickens. For animal welfare, the things you give them are important, but also the way we heat them. Normally 35 degrees, 34, the whole barn. Infrared, you guys know it, but you can use it as a measure for heating the thing. The thing I like the most about it is that they can pick their own sweet spot. In the middle, it's about 45 degrees, and at this side, it's about 25, 26 degrees. We just need to learn them, teach them how to find the sweet spot and the heat. But that only takes about a day or two, and then they're used to it. They find it a lot easier. They're a lot calmer chicks than before. There's not a lot of noise anymore because they can all find their own sweet spot. Even if there's some a little bit bigger that might not want it about 35 degrees, they can find a spot that's ideal for them. And for me as a farmer, especially in the last years, the heating costs have been zero, to be honest. It's just a lot of solar for the electricity and no fuels. which is quite happy with that. Then outdoor access, sort of already mentioned it a little bit, but the avian influenza is a big thing in the Netherlands. It's a small country, a lot of water. This used to be the sea, and I think some of the ancient birds still believe this is water and sea. So they all flock around here and everywhere, and the birds are not allowed to go anywhere most parts of the year because they are the 10-kilometer zones are pretty much covering the whole of the Netherlands. We've had multiple years with them not being allowed outside. So a lot of the organic chickens have been processed without seeing the daylight. Same with the free range, although they don't really exist in the Netherlands. And with a winter garden, they're still good to go in, even with the influenza. And that's just a big thing. And then the free range not claiming a lot of the land for me makes me happy because we can still grow carrots there and give the chickens a good place to be in. Yeah, I don't like it that they're not allowed to go outside. I can understand it for layers because even if they spend half a year indoors, that's totally fine. But for broilers, not having any outdoor access and being processed, this doesn't feel right. Then again, the 365 days is really nice for them, for me too. This is what I wanted to get to. So for the chickens to have a good welfare, it works for me too. I enjoy this a lot more than we used to enjoy the other way of farming. So the sunlight in the barn has already been a really good thing, but then in the winter garden as well, it's way better to get the chefs and everyone that we sell the chickens onto the farm and letting them see what we do. Makes you proud and makes you think of what else you can do for animal welfare for the chickens, just to make it look better and give them more joy. So that's a added bonus for more animal welfare, better environment for me as a farmer. The chickens are happier. I don't know if they're happier. They're healthy, at least, but they've always been healthy on this farm, to be honest. The last time antibiotics was used is probably 10, 15 years ago anyway. So, and not really depending on the housing or how we keep the chickens. But they grow to the end weight relatively good. Not a lot of spread in the weight, which is convenient for the processor. And then this is like the first one mentioned, welfare is nice. It makes the chicken more expensive. And then the trick is always that you can sell the breast meat and not everything else. So I always put this in that it's really important to sell the whole chicken to everyone and explain to them that if they only buy the breast meat, it indeed will be a chicken of about 30 euros a kilogram for the breast meat. And if they can do the drums and the wings and the thighs and even the carcass for some soup, then yes, it works. For us, we partner with those at the bottom, and they buy the whole chicken. Some are retailers, some are butchers, some are hotels. Compass Group is in the UK, and the Fresh is from Germany, I believe. So both countries are in here. It is a premium chicken. There's a lot to tell about feed as well, but I thought that this was just on animal welfare, so I can talk for hours on the feed and the carbon and all that kind of stuff. But for animal welfare too, it's important to utilize the whole chicken, and to drive that home, I always tell them that you can do a lot of meals, or you need a lot of chickens if you only use the breast meat, but you can halve the amount of chickens if you can do it with the thighs as well and the breast meat, and then even less chickens and still make the same if you do the drum meat and the wings too. So whole carcass utilization is a very important thing if you want to do more animal welfare, because especially if it looks different, you can't downgrade it into another market. This is the 5-star. I'll just, for anyone that has some questions on what type of chicken we really do, it's higher animal welfare, organic indoor plus the winter garden, circular feed without soy. So it is possible to do without soy. There's a lot of waste streams being fed to the chickens, biscuits, bread. On climate, we do about 25% lower on carbon, 40% on the feed, and there's nothing coming into the feed from outside of Europe. Some of it from the farm, some of it from close by, but everything from Europe. And then taste and color. I've heard it before, but that's the thing that helps the short supply chains really well. Looks different, taste is different as well. I forgot to mention the most important thing. They eat carrots and beetroot, leftover of that stuff. That's why they're orange. Feeds, like I said, feeds the thing I could talk about for hours. Then forgot about when it's on animal welfare. And then the last thing for us is the transparent supply chain. Explaining everyone where it comes from and how to process it into their menus. Yeah, that was it. From kilos per square meter to value per bird. For us, it's been a good journey, and enables us to at least stay in the business for a longer time, and see it as a main thing instead of a side thing, because that's been the focus here. We want to do the chickens as a main thing, not as a side.
Johan, that was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Seeing your journey from kilograms per square meter to the value per bird is like really optimistic and heartwarming. So that's great. So I hope that's given the audience food for thought.
It's not just our journey, though. It's a journey of the whole Dutch sector, because a lot of others have followed us into lower stocking densities in the Netherlands. I think about 70% is at 25 kilograms per square meter now. So it's a big journey for the sector, but a lovely one.
Yeah. We've got one question in the question answer, and then I'll hand over to you, Axel. So I think it's from Marie Guyot in France, saying free-range chickens, label rouge or organic, are not affected by hypopathogenic avian influenza. It's mainly ducks and other susceptible species that are affected, but not the free-range chickens. So if you want to elaborate.
Whether it's a chicken or a duck or a geese or whatever, as soon as avian influenza is the right strain, they all die. Whether it's free range or indoor, doesn't really matter. It's just that avian influenza is here every single year now, and it's sort of endemic as well, where it's in the summer it's still here. So the risk of not being able to let them go outside and have a good welfare is always there. So better give them a good indoor where they can at least go even with influenza, and they still can get sick and die, obviously, but at least they're allowed to go there.
It struck me actually, your indoor barns actually seem very outdoors because of all the lighting.
Yeah, there's a lot of sunlight and there's a lot of wind, and even some rain if they're unlucky. So it's a good place to be, and it's easy to clean. It's no rodents, hopefully, and no birds. Then yeah, it's obviously it's not grass, but it's still a really good place for them to be.
Brilliant. Axel, your question.
Yes, Johan. Thank you for the presentation. I have one question. Is it possible in the Netherlands that you can grow organic vegetables and keep the broilers inside? And do the broilers not organic? Is that possible?
Well, yeah, everything is possible, especially if you ask me. But you can do organic land and certify the arable bit for organic, and then have a different certification for the chickens. Yeah, that's an issue. There's plenty of farms around here that have organic land and conventional chickens.
It's not allowed anymore in Germany since a couple of years. You have to have then two companies.
Make separate businesses from it. I mean, you could just do two business.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. And the other question was in slide number 6. You showed the pictures and you said you turn the walls to floor. I didn't understand that. What do you mean to turn the walls to floor?
Sorry, what did I say?
In slide number 6. Number 6,
yeah.
There was a picture.
Oh, the infrared.
And you said you turn the walls for floor.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's a good question. I can show you if you want to. The walls is probably translated. It's stupid, but is this slide right?
Yeah,
The
this
walls
slide in the middle.
for yeah.
What does it
So
mean?
yeah, that's a good question. The infrared has only a selected space of the barn where we have the infrared, meaning that if they go too far away from it, they might not find the infrared again. So what we do is we enclose them for the first day to make sure that they can find the warmth, even if they just walk a few meters and not walking in the wrong way. But after a couple of days, we turn them and use them as a floor for the chickens where they can go underneath and
Yeah.
even on top of as well. I have
Okay.
more pictures of it. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the idea is using it as a wall first to make sure that there's an enclosed space for them where they can find the hot zones under the infrared. And then
Mhm.
once they fully understand the infrared, we just open the whole thing up and give them the whole thing. And then I felt stupid to just hang those things up in the air and block the circulation of the incoming air. And figured to
Mhm.
just turn them and use them as a floor.
Yeah. Okay. Now I understand. Thank you very much.
Good questions. I think we're due a short stretch break now. Is that right, Stefan?
Yeah.
I'm checking my time.
I think
So thank you so much, Johan.
Right, I'll
We'll
check the
do
chickens.
yeah, chickens. Is it 10 minutes?
yeah, we can be back at 15:15. I suggest. Yeah.
Quarter past for our final speaker.
7:15. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have a quick stretch and back here for Axel. Right, hopefully everyone's back at their screens or phones. Axel, would you like to share your screen? Get you ready for your presentation.
You can see it?
Perfect, yes.
Okay,
Okay, over to you, Axel.
ready to start. Yes, hello together. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Axel Hilckmann, and I'm talking to you from Germany, and I'm now in the west part of the Germany, near the Belgian border, close to Luxembourg, and I wanted to show you some pictures from a farm we started to plant the farm in 2024. Yes, and we finished it last year. And my job is really, I'm a consultant for poultry for the whole life. I'm in the poultry business. I started on a farm by our own, which was in the area of the Dutch border, Johan, not too far away from Venlo. And there we had a family business farm. It's still there, but we stopped the business. But we had greenhouses and we had a hatchery. We hatched turkey eggs there, and we supply the market with turkey poults. But we stopped that in 2006 because we had some problems with avian flu in that area, and that was for a hatchery a very big problem. And the other reason was we were too small for the market here in Germany, because it's especially the turkeys was a very closed market, and we were not involved in a slaughterhouse or in a plant. So it was hard and tough, and we decided to do something else. Yeah, and then I found my way in the consultant things, and I was 10 years in the south of Germany as a consultant for an organic company. And since 2019, I'm now here in Rheinland-Pfalz, which is near Trier. And yes, I want to introduce the farm to you. Okay, the Hofgut Serrig is a place where people work who are, yeah, they called it an inclusive agriculture estate managed by the Lebenshilfewerke Trier GmbH. And the farm and the whole thing is located in Serrig along the Saar River near Trier. And on the farm, there are 160 to 170 people with intellectual, physiological, and multiple disabilities, so handicapped people, and their works there in the agriculture business and also in some other things. But the most excited thing is really for the people to work with the animal on the farms, and there are some animals. There are chickens, there are broilers now. They have some pigs, they have cattle, and they have our own butchery. They produce all their own, they kill all their own animals, produce all their own products, and they sell it on the farm shop, and they sell it on different various weekly markets. So, and because of all these animals and also vegetables and greenhouses, poultry was one of the good running products on the market. Here in Germany, people eat a lot of poultry, and also people aware of welfare also. And so we decided to invest on the farm in a new poultry farm. Poultry was raised before in smaller groups, but now they decided to make a bigger farm. And yes, I want to show you how it turns on. So the aims of the farm from Hofgut Serrig, you can see it in the corner over there, is the best support for people with handicapped and intellectual disabilities and enable them to participate in working life and integration. The best thing would be if we could integrate those people back in normal jobs, like on agriculture farms or wherever. They prepare individuals for the primary job market, and we would like to do a modern farming in particular aspects of animal welfare, environmental sustainability, a low carbon footprint, of course, energy management with solar energy. We have now air heat exchanger, and we would like to offer a regional food production, so in the circle of 100 kilometers. And like I said, poultry is one of the big fives of the farm. And yeah, like I said, people here in that area, also in Luxembourg, are very keen on products like that. While the farm is planned at the size of the plant, the size of the farm is planned after organic rules. The farm itself, it's not organic yet, but we could easily switch to organic poultry if the market will grow to that. Right now, it's a little bit tough. We started with free-range poultry, free-range broilers, and now the first batch was in February this year, and now every 6 weeks they will get new poults, 1-day-old poults on the farm. So we are now in the third round, and so far the broilers haven't been out because the weather was not nice yet, but pretty soon we will start to leave them outside. Okay, the farm is designed after organic rules, but it's not certificate organic rules. So we have also the 21, we now do 25 kilograms per square meter. We do also a slow growing breed, yeah. And like I said, the farm is designed after organic rules. We have 5% windows in it. We have a winter garden, we have a veranda. And also, you see it later on, we have 2 groups of birds in the farm. Okay, the production of the broiler Hofgut Serrig, we have 2 different groups, are 480 square meters. So altogether 960 square meters, but divided in 2 groups, totally different from each other. So we have an inside place for the broilers from 360 square meters, and we have a winter garden or veranda, how you call it, from 120 square meters. The density is now 25 kilogram live weight per square meter, and we can place altogether 8,000 birds. But because we would like to have every week fresh birds, because they slaughter them by themselves, we place them in 2 groups, and we do 4,000, and every 6 weeks we place another group of 4,000. We started now with 3,800, but we can do 4,000 if we do the 25 kilogram per square meters. One cycle is 56 to 70 days. Sometimes we have to kill before it because to have fresh products every week, and sometimes they get older also as well. The cleaning and disinfection is every 7 days, and the first setting was this year in week 8. And the race is Hubbard JR ESA 787. They came now, the poults, they come from a French hatchery, which is not too far away from Paris, which was the closest hatchery to us here. And we do 8 sizes per year. Yes, and we have around 3% losses, and we count 200 hours per flock, per batch, so that means 1,600 working hours. But like I said, there are a lot of people working there, handicapped people, and the working hours are not that big thing on the farm. Genau. We put solar on the roof also, and an air heater. And also, like I said, we would like to leave the broilers a couple of days outside, or even weeks when it's possible. And also, we have we grass cattle as well on the same size, like you did it before. We heard it about the Planton Farm. We also have the broilers and the cattle on one side. You know, they don't have to go outside yet because it's not organic certified, but they can go outside, and we will try it. Sorry. Okay, that's the size of the farm. You see the two groups here. It's very easy. We have a small building in front of the farm for the people. It all has to be a little bit wider and more space for the people. And then we have the two groups and the winter garden. Yes. Like I said, we have a solar roof with 1,264 square meters, and it has a kW peak of 234.5 kilowatt per suite. We can, of course, not use all the power on that broiler farm, but there are a lot of more buildings on the whole place which can use the energy we're producing now. Okay, you see the fence here on the right side. There is some predators on the farm. We have some foxes there and everything, and we have to use electric power on the fences to keep them off. We will see how it works when we leave the first broiler outside during the day. Yeah, here you see the pictures from the veranda and the winter garden. And if I would build it again, the farm, I would choose a little bigger winter garden, like we see you on your presentation. But this winter garden is good, I think, very good for the people, very good for the broilers. And I think the different climate is a big advantage. We work here with an air heat exchangers, which is very popular now in buildings for human people, but also very good for farming as well, especially for broiler farms. We have a floor heater on the farms, which I like very much. And this air heat exchangers is powered by the energy from the solar roof. And it has two evaporators, 60 kVs. And on the right side, you see an emergency generator when the sun is not shining or when the power is off. That's how it. Of course, we need a gas tank in case something happens and we have to heat with normal gas. Yes, and on the left side, you see the picture of the winter garden. Also, when we catch the birds for killing, for slaughtering, we separate them in the winter garden, and that makes it easier for the rest of the birds. And in the middle picture, you see the inside. It's like a normal broiler farm. We have windows in there. We have 5% windows, 5% from the floor space normally. And let's see how it works with the windows. Here you see the two groups. In one group on the left side, the birds are around 5 to 6 weeks, something like that. And on the right side, there are the new poults inside. Yeah, like I said, it's now the third round in it, and we have to work on the air. We have to work on the temperature a little bit. The temperature is doing very good. The floor heater works very well, but we have to work a little bit at the air management, the movement of the air in the farm. I think it takes some couple of weeks or a couple of rounds to get it perfect. Yeah, the litter which I used are Dinkelspelzen, Spelt-pellets, and we feed from the first day of the poults, we feed normal whole grain and around 2 grams per broiler a day. I think that has two positive things. One is a positive thing for the digestive of the little poults, and the other good thing is that the people like to do it, like the handicapped people. It's easy for them to feed the whole grain, and it's a nice job. Yeah, we have enrichment materials as straw as well, but it comes in later. We have the underfloor heating system, or better, you can better say in-floor heating system. This is for energy saving and optimal distribution of the temperature. It works very good. And also we have a cooling system which is called EcoTwin. That the cooling system is on the wall, and if temperature gets too hot, we can spray water. Also, we can use the cooling system when we want to do some not medicamentation, but for example, we can do some ätherische Öle. Yeah, we can use a cooling system to use, let's say, eucalyptus, something like that. Okay, here you can see the pictures how they built in the floor heating systems. What you can see also is pop holes to go outside in the winter garden. Okay, the air system, to express that a little bit, it's an equal pressure system. We call it Gleichdrucklüftung or equal pressure ventilation. That means the air comes in and gets blown out of the pop holes. We decided to choose that. It needs a little bit more energy, but we produce the energy for ourselves. But that keeps cold air from outside out of the farm because it blows outside. We have an automatic scale for broilers. Yes, that's important, we think, because we want to know every day what the broilers weigh. We have 4 pop holes in the winter garden, and we have 8 holes in the free range. The pop holes in the veranda we covered with some lamelles that not too much cold air comes in or not too much warm air goes out, but the poults get used to these lamelles. We have perches in the barn and also, how do you call it, higher etage where the broilers can sit on. We use a slow-growing breed. We think it's a good balance between welfare and reliable meat production. That's something we heard before. Of course, we have to do some compromises also. We are selling the poultry meat, and we need some kilogram on the ground also, but we have chosen slow-growing breeds because we want to have this balance. Also, the animals are much more, like I said, relaxed. And also, when we work with people in the farm, in the house, the birds are more relaxed, and the people are also more relaxed. Okay. Also, the meat quality is good from the birds. We think that they have a better taste and also better texture of the broiler. I think one of the reasons is also they grow older and the texture is better. People really choose our bird from the farm, and they said that's broiler meat what we want to have. free range, and when feathered, they go outside and they do the mixed grazing with the cows. We have a daily consumption around 45 to 50 grams, and also in the circle 56 days from 2.5 kilo to 2.8 kilo. The standards, how the farm works, there are out of the system. We have a system which is called Deutscher Tierschutzbund in Germany, and you can find it in the internet. And there are the standards, and we are using the Premiumstufe. Yeah, we have also no transportation on the farm because they all get killed there on the farm. They all kill their own animal. Also with handicapped people, very, very close circle. Yeah, and an alternative treatment like Psychotherapeutika, Probiotika, Vitamine, Mineralstoffe before any use of antibiotics. Yeah, some more pictures from the farm. It took a planning of 1 year, and it took a building of another year. And I think in 2 years, it was built. And building here in Germany is very expensive. It gets very expensive. And we have now built this farm for around 120 euros per square meters for the farm, but with the solar Anlage. And let's say 5 or 6 years ago, it was 30% less. But nobody knows what happened. I think it would stay expensive like that. So we are glad that we built the farm. Yeah, some more pictures. That was my input to this evening. And if there are any questions, please ask.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Axel. That's really interesting. And that pictures bring story to life. So I like that. And really nice to see, I think you called it the inclusive agriculture estate with the inclusivity of people with disabilities, which is wonderful. Need more of that. So really thank you. We do have some questions actually. I might bring in Margaret's one from earlier because I think that would be quite relevant because you briefly mentioned it. Was about how is catching done on your farm? How is the catching process performed? Do you do anything specific for animal welfare, maybe with your staff as well?
No, we go with the people who are on the farm, with the handicapped people. We do some trainings with them, and it's very. We take a lot of time for the catching. We separate first the birds, and then after a couple of 3 or 5 hours, then the birds get catched, and we catch them by hand. Put them in a transport box, and they just have to go in a little car, let's say 800 meters, 900 meters, and there's a butchery, and they got stand and killed. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. And I think it's a follow up there about how easy or close are your abattoirs? Is there quite a long distance?
No, it's not a long distance. It's on the same place. The broiler farm, the broiler house is maybe 800 meters away from it.
Oh, wow.
It's all in one place. I showed you, yeah. It's all in one place, which makes it very nice, and easy for the birds, easy for the people.
So like Anne, the first speaker, as she was doing butchery and slaughter on farm, it's closed loop.
That's one of the marketing ideas as well. No transportation of birds, no transportation of animals in a circle.
Yeah, I don't know, Claire, if you want to come in there about. It's quite a problem in the UK. We're losing our abattoirs.
Yeah, well, I think in chicken we've pretty much lost them. In red meat, another one in our area in Wrexham went in the last couple of weeks, and the next local one to us is about to go. So it's a problem in red meat, but everyone's always focused on red meat. Nobody thinks about white meat when they're going on about how far they have to travel. I'm like, because we're organically certified, we have to it's a 4-hour drive to our nearest organically certified abattoir. We do have another abattoir that's not organically certified, which is a bit closer at like 3 hours, but it's still, you know, it's still such a long way. And we're really exploring all options on that. And although the on-farm, I'm interested in the on-farm processing, and that's something we're definitely looking at, but I'm also that would help us. But I'm kind of trying to work on a hub model, you know, to get another smaller, medium-sized abattoir in our area, because there's nobody really doing chicken because of it. And then just to say on our catching, yeah, we do the same catching, I think, as the totally forgot the name of the first speaker, but we're yes, and that's right. So we're catching not by legs, we're catching by you know, picking up the birds. So there's no inversion at that stage. And it was something that it was a really early on when I was looking after chickens on the farm I worked on, and as an outsider to the poultry industry, just never even considered catching as even a thing. Like, just don't think about it, and I just don't think many people do. But the farm I worked on, they were insistent that everybody caught the chickens. We didn't bring in catching gangs. We did it ourselves because we wanted to make sure that it was done well, and also we needed to understand what was involved in that process. And I think that's probably one of the things I'm most thankful for, to understand that and to do it and to know how to do it and to orchestrate it now in a good way is important. But I feel like so many people are disconnected from that. But it sounds like some great, like the way everybody's doing it here is brilliant, and it's great to hear.
Yeah, good point. Margaret, I don't know if you wanted to come in at all about catching from a welfare angle. Landing you in it, sorry.
No, actually not. We had a very nice BroilerNet webinar on catching for those who want to learn more about catching procedures. I was just wondering to what extent upright catching was done on those welfare farms. Thanks.
I would also say, Lisa, poultry is one of the best animal for handicapped people. They're really happy with the poultry. We have cows and cattle on the farm, but they're a little bit dangerous for those kind of people. We have pigs on the farm. As soon as the pigs have something to eat, okay, but if they're hungry, the pigs, they're also not so easy. But poultry, we have turkeys as well, very good for the people. We have the broilers. It's a very good combination.
Yeah.
And it's
Crazy.
welfare, you do something for the people, and it fits very well.
Well, this whole concept of one welfare, and I think Johan mentioned it as well earlier, of the well-being that you get from looked after animals,
right?
A compassionate system.
The well-being for the people.
Yeah. It's really something. Which does bring me on to the question from Peter, actually. Yes, so this is for everybody, but is anyone aware of recent studies comparing the nutritional quality of the meat from the broilers featured this evening and conventional fast-growing, densely stocked broilers? $1 million question, that one.
It's if there's been some so we are working on it, and we're members of the Nutrient Density Alliance in the States, and it's something we've got some new labs in the UK doing a kind of better level of testing, and not just testing the nutrient density, but also linking that to life cycle analysis. So the amount of nutrition and per the unit of carbon in that thing, which I think is really interesting. But if there has been other research, I'd love to hear about it, because I wasn't aware. If that's what the question was, were we aware? I wasn't aware of the latest, and so I'd love to hear about it.
Go on, Stefan.
Yeah, I'm not expert in nutrition. There are several complexities there if you're going to compare, and that is what you're actually comparing, because organic or non-conventional production usually involves different hybrids, and you have access to outdoor area, and you have a different feed composition. So the question is it just the conventional, non-conventional that is compared? So it's a complex issue, and usually the feeding and the content of the feeding is influencing the nutritional value of meat in general, and I think the hybrid as well. So, but I mean, there are studies, but is it that difference, or is it the difference between the breeds, or that you are actually testing different types of feeding and birds going outdoor? I mean, in laying hens, you have if they can eat green grass or other herbs, they will have other composition in fatty acids, for example, in the egg yolk. Yeah.
Not
I
an
think
easy. Go
no,
on,
not,
Axel.
not an easy question, but one point is also, Stefan, the longer life cycle of these birds, what we do, I think it has more texture of the meat. You feel it, of the texture of the meat. And in practice, as long as consumers come back to us and ask for, especially the broiler from Hofgut Serrig, there must be something on it. So that's reason enough for us to do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. The nutrition and then the taste and experience. Yeah. That's a good call for more studies to us academics. Comparative studies. Yeah. On that, I think this is quite often in discussions we have around poultry systems and broiler systems and transformation of new models. We do come back to the food question and what people want to eat, what people are willing to consume or buy, which can be a bit, excuse my chicken and egg situation. So I wondered, for our speakers, do you have any thoughts or ideas of what you would like to see change or be adopted from your systems in the, dare I say it, the more industrial or the more mainstream chicken production systems? I don't know who wants to go first.
I would like to start, Lisa. We saw today different systems here in the presentation, and I think every system has his own advantages, and every system will fit in the evolution in the time we are now. We decided to produce broiler for a consumer who's asking for poultry meat. But we don't want to produce poultry meat with 39 kilograms on 1 square meter and just produce meat. We want to do something different. And our poultry meat is, of course, a lot more expensive in production costs, but people are asked for it. And of course, it's not a small production. It's quite a lot of amount of animals in one farm, but under welfare standards to serve the consumer's demand. And we think we can do it with small farms, direct marketing, like we heard it today. It's very good, but it's also, I know a lot of farms doing that. It's also very hard work. It's really hard work. Or we can do it like Johan does it in the Netherlands, or we do it with a bigger farm and bigger sizes, but also animal welfare conditions for a bigger group of demands. That's why we decided this bigger farm. It's not really big. Normally in Germany and Holland, the farms have 30,000 broilers inside at least. We have only two groups with 4,000. But in 1 year, it's still a lot of amount of broilers. And I think we can keep broilers under welfare condition and serve the consumers. Also earn some money as well.
Yeah, must be a win-win. Do any of the other speakers attempt to answer the hard question?
Well, I was just going to say, I think it's just about something for everyone. That's what we're finding is it's not a kind of like, are we trying to, do away with other types of chicken system? It's just that some people want to eat chicken from our type of system and some people want, for whatever reasons, from other systems. But I think where I think about it more strategically is like, okay, so what if the cost of feed or electricity doubled, tripled, quadrupled? What if we couldn't get soya anymore in the UK? Like some of those bigger questions, listening to a water company locally speak, saying that by 2050, farms will no longer, whether this is true or not, whether this will happen or not, but it was proposed that it's unlikely that farms will be able to continue extracting water from boreholes at the same rate as they currently are. Most new big industrial chicken sheds are going in on boreholes for water, so suddenly the water will not be available, so it won't be able to function. So if whether that happens or not, but if it's not that, it might be something else. If you look at the Met Office in the UK, the weather report for 2050, they've done like a mock weather report, talks of consecutive days of 45 degrees, and there'll be electricity rationing in order to keep people in the cities cool, or keep homes cool with air conditioning, and therefore one of the things that will be switched off may well be the farms. So if that sort of thing starts to happen, suddenly a big system highly reliant on extracted water and electricity becomes possibly more expensive, and more natural system becomes cheaper. So I get it right now. Lots of people wouldn't, it doesn't work to buy our chicken for them, but that might change. And I think it's just good to be out there doing it and having different options out there as the times are going to change. It's changing yearly, isn't it? So quickly, the pace of change, and just being adaptive and having a system that's able to adapt feels like the most secure place to be.
Yeah, totally. Anne, do you want to come back in with that? Anything?
Yes. Yeah. I think we need many different systems. If everyone were to implement a system like me, we wouldn't be able to mind the demand. But my system puts the animal in the center, and that is something I would like to see in other systems as well. So that although meat is quite cheap, and I think when meat quite cheap, there are not das ist also ein Wegwerfprodukt sozusagen. Wenn es günstig ist, dann kann man es eben nicht wertschätzen. Wie sage ich es am besten?
In English, Anne, in English.
Ja, sag mal. Alex, sag mal.
Oh, ich weiß auch nicht.
Ja, so also
the chicken is often seen as a waste product, or that people just throw away meat as if it is waste, and it's actually high nutritious food from an animal, right?
Yes, right. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Margaret. Yeah. When that actually, the Peter's just had another question in the chat about how do we persuade consumers that meat has become too cheap? We eat too much of it. Recent FAO report says we eat 6 times more chicken than something like 60 years ago. Yes, that's a hard question. I don't know if anyone wants to tackle that one.
I want to say something. We can eat less chicken, but if we keep the broiler production under welfare conditions, the broilers has to become higher, expensive in price. That's normal. We put more effort in the birds because of higher welfare condition. So we heard something about prices today from 10 euros per kilo, or 12 euros per kilo broiler weight. And I share the opinion. Let's eat less meat, but for the meat, what we consume, we have to pay a little bit more to get it produced under animal welfare conditions. That's my answer.
Yeah. Stefan, I might hand back to you to wrap up on that difficult one to solve.
Yeah. It's really interesting to see how you are housing your broilers, taking care of your broilers, and how your approach to the chicken production. And I think there are a lot of things to learn for also the conventional producers. And when you talk about the critical resources that will be scarce in future, I mean, already now we're talking about fossil fuel, mineral fertilizer, imported soy, etc., which means that maybe some of the conventional production within a quite short time will be involuntary organic, and then if they want to continue a kind of production, they need to cope with more scarce resources. So it's really important to have the full picture here. Very interesting to hear. So Lisa, do you want me to just say the final
probably.
words on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will do so, and I will share a PowerPoint presentation as well. So this was a webinar. I would take the opportunity to promote our next webinar, which will be on the 8th of July. More information will come in our LinkedIn and in the news, but it will be focusing on facing the challenge Enterococcus infection in modern broiler production. So it's a different topic, and it's organized by Natalia Mayo from IRTA and Barcelona, and she has organized this, and there will be presentation by Dr. Arne Jung, understanding Enterococcus infection in broilers, and then Soy Prensa from Greece will talk about advanced biosecurity measures for Enterococcus control. So you have the QR code there. I will bring the link into the chat as well. And to promote our fact sheets and other information material, there are a fact sheet on the Enterococcus control, which can be used by advisors and farmers and anybody who wants to know more about it and have some more biosecurity measures. I would like to thank the team of the BroilerNet, and in particular Lisa Morgans and Margaret, Julia, and Vibke and Mukta that has been organizing this in collaboration with others. And thank you for sharing the session, Lisa. Here are the BroilerNet information. We'll bring it into the chat as well. I think I put it there already. And then I would like to thank you very much, Anne, Claire, Johan, and Axel for bringing us this knowledge and what do you call it? Enthusiasm and spirit. And I was really happy when we started the discussion immediately after the first presentation. So thank you very much for this chance for us to listen to your interesting talks. And I also would like to say that as you see that this webinar is recorded, in a couple of weeks there will be a recording available at the BroilerNet website and also at YouTube, of course. So we will follow our media and look out for new things, and you will be able to see this once again. Do we have some more questions here? Yeah, it was Margaret. Thank you. So yeah, we are close to 8 o'clock. Is there anything that anybody would like to say?
Thank you, Stefan.
Yeah, thank you. And then I hereby close this webinar. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
See you again.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye.